You're listening to Chamber Chat on Chamber Channel 3. Chamber Chat is brought to you in part by Mansmith Pharmacy, where your care is our only concern.
This is Chamber Chat, brought to you by Mansmith Pharmacy. I'm Deb Height, and today we're visiting with Chief Deputy Sheriff Todd Suhr. Welcome, Todd.
Well, thank you, and hello to everybody in Emmitsburg and out in the good folks out in Palo Alto County.
Great. Well, it's nice to have you here today.
Well, thank you.
Today we're going to talk about something that's pretty serious business. We always think of serious business when we're talking to the authorities. However, it's not always serious. But today we're going to be talking about scams and something that just seems to be prevalent. Every day there's something new and different. So we're going to ask Todd some questions, and he's going to give us some information about some of the scams that are going on.
Sure.
Okay, so let's start out. Are all scams alike?
Well, there's several different types of scams, and there's internet scams where somebody sends you emails or contacts you through some social network. There are telephone scams where somebody will call on the phone and solicit information. There's door-to-door scams where somebody would come to your house and maybe knock on your door and ask you about some repairs you need or something of that nature. And in amongst all those scams are a lot of different types of scams. Some telephone scams, some recent ones that we've had have really been bad in my eyes. And what they are is they're really taking advantage of grandparents. And grandparents are getting calls, and what they'll hear is a voice on the phone saying, "Grandma or Grandpa, this is your favorite grandson or granddaughter," and they'll try and solicit the name from the grandpa and grandma, and they'll say, "Oh, is this Billy?" And they'll say, "Yeah, it's Billy," and then they'll tell them that they're in jail or that they're been arrested, maybe in a foreign country. Maybe they're, I was on a trip to London or something like that, and I need so many dollars. Can you help me, Grandpa or Grandma? And they really play on the emotion. The first thing Grandpa and Grandma want to do is they want to help their grandkids, So that's what, and the other thing is we call them scammers. I think that's too nice a name. They're criminals. These are criminals that are preying on people and victimizing people, And so there are so many different types of scams out there.
Wow. There's a lot to think about, isn't there?
Yeah.
So who is a target victim for potential scams?
Well, there's a wide range, but a lot of the times it is elderly folks. Sometimes it's somebody who's mentally challenged. Sometimes they will victimize those people. I had a case one time where there was a deaf mute lady, and I don't know how they found her, but they found her, And she was scared to death of lightning, and the only thing she got was a photocopy of guaranteed lightning rods. And it cost her $2,500.
Oh my!
And they target these people. And one of the things they do is, and it's such a sad thing. What these criminals do, they'll look at obituaries. They'll see that somebody's recently widowed. And oftentimes in the obituaries it says they're survived by their sons and daughters who live elsewhere. So it just gives them more information that this person is now by themselves. So oftentimes, like I said, it is elderly. It is somebody who maybe is mentally challenged, things of that nature, or most of their target victims. Somebody who's easily manipulated.
Mm-hmm. It's bad. So how do scam artists contact you?
There again, it's several different ways. You can be contacted by telephone. You can be contacted by knocking on the door. They come and see you. Through the mail. There's sometimes you'll receive a letter through the mail and it says you've won this grand prize, and if you only pay the handling fee of $500, you're going to get this, $100,000 prize. Through email, there's all sorts of ways they contact you, and that's the key point here. It's someone who's contacting you. It's an unsolicited contact by someone who wants to talk to you about your finances.
Sure.
If you are the one making the initial call, if you are soliciting, you are calling your bank, or you're calling that company that you have questions for, then most of the time that's who you're talking to. But it's the unsolicited to you that happens.
You always think after a storm or something, in some areas where there's tornadoes or whatever, you hear people going door to door, you know.
Yeah, and we have that. We had, like a big hailstorm, we had some people come through and want to do shingling. There's some people who want to do trim your trees. I've seen them all. Trimming trees, asphalt scams. They want, we've got some asphalt left over and we're going to pour a driveway for you, and then they just double, triple, quadruple the price in the end. And I had one of my best cases, and it's just dear to my heart because you just don't catch these people very often. I had an elderly lady, a grandma. Rose was her first name, and this is when I was in another jurisdiction. But anyway, she had a couple guys at her house. They'd solicited her, knocked on her door, and they said, "Well, your basement's caving in, it's cracking, so we need to help you fix that." And we have this Iowa Law Enforcement Intelligence Network. So we have intelligence flyers sometimes on these guys who are doing this kind of stuff. Well, this was before cell phones and all that. Well, one of my police officers, when I was chief of police, happened to drive by and see this vehicle there, recognized from an intelligence flyer that these guys were scammers. By the time he drove by and seen him there and went to the police station and called me, and I told him, go right back down there, he went back. They had already seen him go by and went in, and they pretty much pounded their fist for her, and they got $3,950 from her. And all they did was take some caulk and put some caulk in a couple cracks in the foundation. Well, fortunately, we were lucky enough. I had put out information to have them stopped, and they found him over near Sioux City. So I went and interviewed them, and they were very indignant about it. Oh yeah, we're contractors. We bid the jobs individually, and they confessed to me that they were at Rose's house, and they said, yeah, we got money from her. We did a lot of work there, and they had cashed her check, and they had the cash on them yet, and so I was able to get the cash, wrote them a receipt, and then I arrested them for the theft second degree. So that was one of my most favorite cases because we were able to catch those guys. We went to trial and found them guilty. Matter of fact, they had appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court even said, no, you guys are scammers, just go to jail. So but the odds of catching people are so slim.
They are
so
slim, aren't they? Well, when somebody contacts you via computer or something, you have no face, you have nothing.
That's it, and there's been times where somebody's tried to sell something over eBay or not just eBay, but a lot of those sites, and people will pay money up front or they'll wire money. Well, then there's nothing that ever shows up, So that's the real tragedy of some of this is because you can be a very anonymous person and take advantage of people.
Mm-hmm. So what should I do if I'm contacted by a person who's trying to scam me?
Well, the first thing is if it's unsolicited, if somebody comes to your door, knocks on your door, they call you, they send you a letter, if they're talking to you in person by telephone or at your door or anything, just tell them, I don't do business over the phone. No, I have a local contractor I deal with. I'd like to talk to my family about this first. Just basically, if it's an unsolicited contact to you, just tell them I don't do business over the phone. I do not do business without talking to my family.
Okay, very good. And then how do I protect myself from being a victim of a scam?
Well, it's kind of the same thing we talk about with identity things. Make sure you keep your personal information confidential. Try not to give out your bank account numbers, your social security number to people. And if somebody knocks on your door and you're uncomfortable, don't open the door and go ahead and call the police. Call your local police department or the sheriff's office. And we're more than happy to come and talk to them and check them out and make sure everything's legitimate with them. And if they're not legitimate, they probably won't be there when we get there.
That's right.
But yeah, don't answer the door. Try and protect yourself. Protect your personal information is the best advice I can give you.
Okay. So what are the odds of catching a scam artist?
Well, again, like we talked about, it's very slim because of the anonymity. Being anonymous over the internet. They can even make telephone calls to you that go through different computers that we can't even track the telephone call back. So it makes the odds of catching somebody very, very slim. It can be done. And I'll tell you right now, we will do everything we can to catch somebody, to bring them to justice, but the odds are very slim sometimes because of the leads that aren't generated because of the technology and things that happen that way.
Okay, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
If you have any concerns, somebody's at your door, whatever, call your local police station, call your local sheriff's office. We're more than happy to be out there and check into it and protect the citizens like we're charged to do. And we're glad to come out and help people.
That's good. You have a list of scams here, I see.
Yeah, just for some facts, I just ran the stats for a year, and this includes the whole county of Palo Alto. And we had 39 calls of scams or internet frauds last year. And out of most of those, it was mostly people who had recognized that there was a problem and called us, so we documented the situation. We had a few where they had already lost some money. Not too many. I think we're hopefully doing a good job of getting the information out to the public that just say no to these things. Tell people I don't do business over the phone. I need to talk to my family, and that's what we're trying to say. And we'll be glad to come out and check these things out if you give us a call.
Okay, well, we thank you for being here today, and we thank you for joining us. This is serious business, the scams. You know, if it looks like it's too good to be true, it usually is. So why don't you give our Sheriff's Department a call at 852-3535 or our local police at 852-2424 and just ask them if this could be on the up and up. So we thank you for joining us again. We hope this information has been helpful to you. Chamber Chat today has been brought to you by Mansmith's Pharmacy, where your care is their only concern. Thank you.
This has been Chamber Chat on Chamber Channel 3. Chamber Chat has been brought to you by Mansmith Pharmacy.